Thanks everyone for joining us today. I am Heather Andrews and I am the owner and founder of Follow With Your Publishing. And I have the honor today of interviewing one of my authors, Teresa Engel. And she is the author and coach, and she now has the new book releasing, The Jam in My Sandwich. So I'm just so excited, Teresa, to have you with me today. And I just wanted to just give us a little bit of a brief overview of how you came to write this book.
Well, a brief overview, that could, it took me years though. Well, how I came to write the book was really, it came about because I was writing my own story. And to be honest with you, and I say this in my book, I wrote it for me first. Mm-hmm. And it really came about because I needed to fill a space in my life. I needed to fill a void in my life. There was a longing that was not being fulfilled. I was losing significance, and I really was looking for a way to come back into the world, and that's what happened. The book was a result.
Absolutely. And normally is how that goes is we do go through an obstacle or adversity, and we learn so much in that space that it always turns out to be an opportunity. And even if it's the things that we learn in that space, or it's what we can go out and teach with others, right, to give them hope. And I know Jam in the Sandwich is really about regaining self when adversity hits you, and how to maintain that piece of harmony and joy. So can you give us a little bit of insight into when life bites, how do we move through those spaces in harmony and maintaining the joy when we don't necessarily feel that in our heart?
Yeah, good question. And this is really what I found for myself was it became clear to me that I had actually gone through a cycle. Mm-hmm. And part of that is understanding what harmony was for myself. And harmony for me just means that I'm really honoring who I am. But more than that, it's blending all the opposites in my life. And if I can blend them and fit them and mold them so that they represent really more of who I am truly, then I'm in harmony. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the work that what I talk about in my book is how to really honor yourself, mm-hmm. how to align with all of your passions that you may have buried, not even found yet. Who knows where they've been hiding? Yeah. And really opening up to a change on how you look at things, how you view yourself, yeah. how you nourish yourself.
Absolutely. And I love I love how your title of the book, because when I think of it, it reminds me of a talk that I gave to a group of managers and healthcare workers, and a lot of them were multi-age, like from 30 all the way up to like 60. And I loved how, and I referred to it as, you can show up as the lettuce in the sandwich, crisp and crunchy and tasteful, or you can show up as limp and dead. And so I love the sandwich analogy, because it really is about, we all have that walk that we're doing. So like, I view it as the jam is the walk of our life, and then we have the sandwich, each side of the bread coming in on either side. And how do you maintain that, whether it's the sandwich is thick with jam and full of sweet and luscious and taste, or is it just kind of like and you don't have any of that flavor in your life, but you can't control necessarily everything that always is coming at you from the right side or the left side, or from above or from below. And that is my theory in the sandwich, and that's why I always said it was the lettuce in the sandwich, and it was how you brought yourself to that table that really defined that sort of analogy. So how did you come to the analogy of the jam at the sandwich?
Well, honestly, it did flow through me, because I began to think of all the complexities in my life. I began to think of I'm of the baby boomer generation. So we have this multitude of this growing sandwich that's coming at us. You know, we've got retirement. We're thinking about whether we're going to still be working, whether we want to work. We've got families, friends, planning maybe vacations. So our jam really has to hold all that together. And I came to the realization that I needed to spoof up my jam. I needed to get it flowing again. I needed to make it juicy and whole and rich. And that was really my life, what I was missing out of my life that I needed to get back. It did just, honestly, the title flowed to me. It came to me when I was just journaling one morning, long before I even knew I was going to write a book. And it just kind of seemed to stick, and it just meant a lot to me. Also, because as you'll learn in my book, I've made jam for a lot of years. So there's a bit of a crossover there. So what exactly does your jam look like? It can be made of a lot of things. It can be sweet and savory, or sweet or savory. It can be juicy like syrup and runny, or thick and meaty like raspberries.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so when life bites, there's a little bit of a recipe in the book as well. And so can you give us just an overview of what some of that recipe looked like? Because I know that you have two major analogies in there, and pillar and ways of teaching it to people in, like, I think it's 7 pillars.
Yeah, I do 7 pillars, and it's all built around the word harmony. One of the big structures that I realized came as a result of my middle name, which is Joy.
Right.
When I was young, I really didn't understand why my parents would want to name me Joy, primarily because I don't know if I felt a lot of joy. But journaling had become a way of life for me in the last 10 years. And one of the things that I journaled about that I included in the book was how I really defined my joy. And it's an acronym for me, and it was just be open to the true you. So your jam has to be you authentically, in charge of you, making your decisions that are best for you, taking into consideration everybody around you. And so I teach that principle about just be open to you in the book.
Okay.
I
love that.
Yeah. Gosh, I teach 7 different chapters, if it were, coaching chapters actually, that you can take and use the coaching tools that are included in there for yourself to move you through.
I love it. And I know there's been some moments in my life of late with a mom that got sick and having 3 teenagers and things like that. So there was some jam in the sandwich. And how do you could, and I found that there was some days where it was a little thinner, and then there was other days that it was savory, and there was some things to be learned, and then there was new recipes to be made. And also there was just days where you just closed the door and sat with the jam in your sandwich and didn't go out. Because you needed to take those days. And I think I think identifying with the different segments of the harmony principle and just being open to me was really instrumental, because it meant that I wasn't losing my mind, and it was okay to say, I can't do this today. I'm not doing this today. Or is what I call it survival mode. And it's kind of like that fight or flight, but we kind of go into that survivor running from the bear, and you can only do that for so long before you hit the wall and you have to stop or you crash. And you don't, and I think that's the way that your book is going to position itself, is because it allows you to take the space so you don't necessarily get to the rock bottom or the crash, and you can identify what it is in those moments or those triggers that can prevent that.
That's right. And that's where the recipe came from, realizing that is what I had done, not knowing I had been doing that with myself, to be able to honor myself and be able to align myself with who I am, and being compassionate and being connected, not only with myself, but with my surroundings, with friends, all of that. And it doesn't necessarily mean that your jam's going to be on nicely made toast every morning, because it doesn't. But what it is a resource that you can say, okay, I've got this harmony a package in front of me. It's a cycle, actually, and it's hanging on my wall over here. And what do I need today? Tell me what I need. I need to focus on something, because this is really not where I want to be. Where do I want to be next? What is the up leveling that I can get through? This plan A has gone flat. It's no longer serving me. How do I refine that so I can jump back into life and be whole and healthy again?
Yeah. And, you know, and there is the saying, you know, like, you've always got your plan A, but it's good to have a plan B. And I know that Bo Eason wrote his book about plan A and plan B, and the plan A works most of the time, but sometimes when plan A doesn't, you need to redirect and work plan B. So for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, that plan B, you take everything you've learned from plan A.
Yeah.
It might be even really, it's going to be an up leveling. You take everything. You're not the same person you were yesterday. You take this wisdom from that plan A and you implement it in whatever plan B, C, D, whatever it's going to look like.
Exactly. I love that. So when is your book launching on Amazon?
It is launching on January 16th, 2020. So excellent. I don't know how many days that is, 38 days or something, but it's getting very close.
Perfect.
It happens to be my 61st birthday that day, so I've got a double whammy of celebration happening. So I'm really excited.
Love that. Yeah. That is so good. Perfect. And then how can people find you and follow you for, because I know that you have a list to get on for people so for launch day and some special prizes and things like that. Exactly. So where can people go to find that?
Couple of places. You can go to my website. It's Teresa Joy Engel, ENGEL.ca.
Perfect.
And go to the link, new book release, and sign up to be on my list. If you do that, you get my free gift, which is the Harmony Handbook, goes along with the book, The Jam in My Sandwich. The other way is to follow me on Facebook at Coach Teresa Joy Engel. I'm also on Instagram under the same handle, and oh gosh, probably a few other places as well.
I know you're on LinkedIn too, so
yes,
that's
I
where
am.
I see
Thanks.
it.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Perfect.
LinkedIn.
That's awesome. So thank you for joining me today, and thank you for sharing with us about the jam in your sandwich. And to all of the listeners that have joined us, I just really want you to full on embrace this journey for the jam in my sandwich, because it really is going to be a life-changing book, and there is so many wonderful things. So follow Teresa and get on her list, because she's got some great value adds as well coming your way with December and January and New Year's resolutions and how to find harmony for 2020 following her principle. And yes, and thank you so much. And her book launches on January 16th, and the best gift that you can give her, as it is her birthday that day too. So anyway, so thank you, Teresa, for this wonderful opportunity to bring you here and just help, share you with our audience. And I just wish you the best of luck. And thank you for letting us help you publish this. It was a true joy.
Thank you, Heather. This has been really very lovely. Thanks so much for all your help as well.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Okay. And we will talk to you super, super soon.
Bye, everyone.